We don't show up on GPS. The first thing Paul noticed about the gas station was the light. It wasn't that it was bright, just the opposite. It was dim, off color. The neon open sign flickered with a dull purple glow instead of the standard red. The kind of hue that made your eyes feel like they were failing. He had been driving for 12 hours straight, somewhere between Nevada and Utah, somewhere far enough off the grid that no cell tower could reach. The desert was endless, a carpet of black sand and jagged silhouettes. His gas light had blinked on 40 minutes ago, and the reserve tank wasn't going to last much longer. Then the sign appeared on the side of the road, like a mirage. Mile marker 156. Refuel, rest, restart. No town. No city name. Just that. It wasn't on his GPS. He tried to scroll the map on his cracked screen. No pin. No road. No service. He should have been surrounded by nothing. And yet there was. The station had a faded shell overhang, 2 ancient pumps with analog dials, and a rusted ice machine humming outside the door. No other cars. No sign of life. But the station was on, and Paul was out of options. He pulled in, tires crunching over gravel that looked more like bone than stone. The radio fuzzed out just as he shut off the ignition. Silence. The kind of silence that makes you swallow. He stepped out. The desert air was cooler than he expected. Not cold, just thinner, like sound and travel is far here. He stood at the pump. No card reader, just a speaker, yellow with age. He pressed a button. A static-filled voice crackled to life. Inside first. Paul blinked. The voice repeated, clearer now. Come inside. Pump's not live until you speak to clerk. He stepped back. That wasn't normal. But then again, nothing out here was. The inside of the station looked like it hadn't been updated since the 1970s. Wood paneling, yellow-tinted lights, a rack of off-brand chips and soda in glass bottles. There was a faint smell, old air conditioner, dust, maybe a trace of gasoline. The clerk was behind the counter, a tall man, thin, mid-50s, maybe, wearing a beige shirt with a faded name tag. It read Ed. Ed didn't speak right away, just looked up at Paul, then back down to something behind the register. Finally, with a voice that sounded like dry paper. Which direction you headed? Paul hesitated. East, trying to get back to Colorado. Ed nodded slowly, almost like he was timing something in his head. No, you're not. Paul furrowed his brow. Excuse me, you're not headed east. Not anymore. Paul laughed awkwardly. Right, sure, I just need gas. Ed didn't smile. He leaned in slightly, the neon from the window flickering across his sunken eyes. You pass mile marker 156. Sun. That means the road behind you doesn't go where you came from. Paul looked over his shoulder. The road was still there, his car waiting beside the pump. He turned back. Look, I don't want trouble. I just need to fill the tank. Ed shrugged. You can fill it, but don't expect to get where you think you're going. Paul stared. Ed finally gestured to a dusty binder on the counter. Sign the book. What book? All visitors do. Helps us keep count. Paul stepped forward. Inside was a list of names. Hundreds, maybe thousands. No dates, no addresses, just first names. And on the top of the next blank line, something was already written. His name, Paul, in his own handwriting. He looked at Ed. I didn't write this. Ed didn't blink. Doesn't matter. Signed anyway. Paul grabbed the pen, paused, then signed it. The moment he lifted the pen, the lights in the store flickered. A hum filled the room, the humming of something waking up. Ed nodded. Pump's live now. Paul turned to leave. Oh, Ed added, don't stay longer than you need to. Things get strange after dark. Back at the pump, the nozzle felt colder than it should. He filled the tank. The analog numbers clicked like a ticking watch. No sound from the wind, no traffic, no stars. Just him, the pump, and the road that stretched in both directions, yet felt like it looped back on itself. When he finished filling up, the nozzle refused to return to the holster. It stuck in place, humming. Then, the digits on the pump screen began to scroll backward. From $38.40 to $0.00. Then they kept going, into negatives. $2.60, $3.40, $5.15. Paul stepped back. The screen blinked off, and the speaker crackled. Drive. He didn't hesitate. Back on the road. The station disappeared behind him within seconds. No lights, no structure, no sign, only the road and the dark. He drove in silence. But as he passed mile marker 157, his headlights hit something, a shape on the side of the road. It looked like a car. Crashed, twisted metal, smoke rising. He slowed, got closer, and saw the license plate. It was his. Same car, same dent in the fender, same sticker in the rear window. The windshield was shattered, the airbags deployed, and inside, a body slumped forward. He couldn't see the face, couldn't bring himself to look. He drove past it fast, tires screaming. 10 minutes later, he reached a turnoff, a dirt road, no signage. His GPS lit up again for the first time in hours. It showed a single point of interest. Refuel, rest, restart. The same station. He hadn't taken a turn, hadn't looped around. But somehow, he was back. And the gas tank? Still full. But the needle was dropping, faster than it should. Almost like the road was burning it away. He swerved off at the next opening. A campsite. Empty. Just a fire pit and a picnic bench under a corrugated roof. He parked, cut the engine, stepped out. The desert air was completely still. He pulled out his phone. Still no service. Then from the trees, a sound. Footsteps. He called out, "Hello?" No answer. He turned on the flashlight, swung it across the clearing, and saw something just beyond the reach of light. A sign, wooden, carved letters. Mile marker 156, population 1. The number scratched out. Underneath it, in smaller letters, population 2. Paul backed up into something. A hand gripped his shoulder. He spun around. Ed stood behind him. Same beige shirt, same name tag, but his eyes were completely black. No whites, no irises, just void. Ed smiled. Looks like you stayed too long. Paul screamed, but the sound went nowhere. Just a sharp, hollow echo, like yelling inside a dream. Paul stumbled backward, heart pounding so hard it hurt. Ed's black eyes didn't blink. They didn't move. Just holes into something deeper, something older. What is this place? Paul managed to whisper. Ed tilted his head. Mile marker 156. You saw the sign. No, what is it really? Paul's voice cracked. Why is my car wrecked on the road? Why does that station disappear? What the hell is going on? Ed blinked, slowly, A pause, like he was choosing his words carefully. People end up here when they take the wrong kind of detour. You didn't notice it, but you've been here before. Paul's mouth went dry. That's not possible. I've never been here. Ed stepped aside, gestured toward the sign. The number had changed again. Population 3. Paul shook his head. No, I'm leaving. I'm getting the car and driving until this place is gone. Ed's voice dropped to a whisper. That's what the last one said. And the one before. Back in the car, Paul floored the gas pedal. The car roared forward. The road ahead stretched out, featureless. No signs, no mile markers, no terrain. After 20 minutes of driving, he saw lights. The gas station. Again, Ed stood out front, waving slowly. Paul screamed and yanked the wheel. Off the road, into the sand. The car spun out, crashed into a dried-up cactus, and stopped. He got out panting, hands shaking. He wasn't hurt, but the station was gone again. Behind him, only road. Ahead, only darkness. And beside him on the ground, a notebook. His notebook, the one he kept in his backpack. The one he'd lost 2 years ago in a rest stop near the Arizona border. He picked it up, opened it. Inside were pages and pages of his handwriting, but he hadn't written them. Each entry was dated. Each one began with, "Woke up again. Gas tank full. Ed still watching." Hundreds of them. Some pages had drawings, a map of the station, a spiral road looping into itself, a face in the rearview mirror that wasn't his. One page just said over and over, "You can't leave if you don't remember." Paul sat on the hood of the car, under a sky that didn't feel like Earth anymore. He looked at his phone. The clock ticked backward. 2:17 a.m. 2:16, 2:15. Then it reset. 2:17 again. He thought about the notebook. If he'd written those entries, if that was him, somehow, in another loop, another try, what had he forgotten? He remembered the curve in the road. 3 days ago, the deer, the headlights, swerving, the impact, glass shattering, and waking up on the road, car intact, gas tank half full, and the first time he saw the sign, mile marker 156, refuel, rest, restart. He was dead, or dying, or in some limbo made for people who never saw it coming. Mile marker 156 was in place. It was a trap, a snare for lost minds, for crashes no one survived, for exits never reached. And Ed was the station keeper, the soul counter, the gatekeeper of a road that looped forever. Paul stood, looked at the stars. They were different now, arranged like runes, like directions only a mapless traveler could read. He opened the notebook, turned to the last page. Blank. He picked up a pen lying beside it, uncapped it, and wrote, "Woke up again. Gas tank full. But I remember now." He turned back toward the road, and for the first time, there was another path, a new one, not paved, not lit, but it was there. And Ed wasn't at the station anymore. Paul drove into the unknown, and the sign faded behind him. Mile marker 156, population 2, then 1, then 0.